Welcome to the Apple Box class. My name is Debbie Kent and I am going to teach you how to bake in a cardboard foil covered box. And it bakes just like a regular oven. So today you get to eat some hot cookies at the end of class. So I'm going to just be putting those on right now. So we're kind of doing the class a little bit backwards. This oven is already preheating. Or it's already preheated actually. You can see there's a thermometer on it, so you can see I think it's running about 300 degrees. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Next year I'm going to put a thermometer on the back too, so I can actually see what it is. I'm finding with cookies, because this is not as big as a regular oven, and because the heat source is a little bit closer than a regular oven, that my cookies, which normally cook at 350, are cooking about 300. So that seems to be about the right temperature. So to do a 350 degree oven, you use about 8 charcoal up here. As they burn down, I'll add more, and there'll be 10. But when you first start out, it's about 8 charcoal that will keep my oven about 300 degrees. So all I did is, this is just my regular famous oatmeal cookie recipe. And I just am using a regular cookie sheet sprayed with regular Pam, and what I'm going to do is I'm taking the top off. Now you notice I can touch it. Okay, it's not so hot I can't touch. I can't touch down here without things, but I can touch the top corners, and I'm just going to lift the top off and I'm going to move it over. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm keeping my heat inside of my oven. If you tip your box, the heat comes out and now your oven's not preheated anymore. Not such a big deal with cookies, a bigger deal if you're doing breads. So you'll also notice that I have a unburned charcoal up in the corner. What that is doing is allowing air to get into my charcoal. Okay, so now we're going to go over and I'm going to show you how we do all this. Okay. So, can someone just watch your watch, tell me when about 10 minutes is up and I can check those? Okay, so this is my foil covered apple box. Okay, and it actually has a window in it. It's the deluxe model. Well, all the models have windows in them. And these are made from turkey oven cooking bags. It's a double layer of a turkey oven cooking bag, so it doesn't melt when we bake. We use the top and the bottom box that gives us extra stability and extra insulation by using the 2 boxes. The inside box is covered with foil and the outside of the top box is covered with foil. You don't necessarily have to have the top box oven covered, but it's so much prettier and it just gives it a cleaner look, and I think it helps hold the heat in a little bit better too. Okay, so I'm not telling you how to do it. We're going to be making them on the 22nd. If you can't come on the 22nd, there's not makeups, but we do have step-by-step instructions with pictures up on the website, and you have that information on the front of your packets. So to cook in an apple box oven, this is what you do. You're going to take a double layer piece of foil, and you're going to put it down. And the reason you're going to use the foil is that you want it to do a couple things. Number one, it helps protect whatever it is you're cooking. Normally, you would not cook on a table. I will tell you, it will melt your table unless you do some things. Like I have cement board with 2x4s underneath it. Seems to be working good. Last year I did the cement board without the 2x4s and I still melted the table. So you either need to do it on the ground, on cement or ground, not the grass, because it'll kill your grass. I like doing it on the table because it's a little bit easier to cook with. It's definitely easier for you to see for today. So you put the foil down, it protects your cement or whatever you're cooking on. It also makes it really easy at the end of the day because you can just pick it up and dump your charcoal into the trash can or wherever you're putting it. It also, you can fold the sides up. It gives you a little bit of a windbreak to keep your charcoal burning a little bit longer, and it helps reflect your heat back. So 4 purposes for having the foil down there. You put the foil down, then you're going to have cans, not full of soda because they would explode, but you're going to empty them out, rinse them out. You're going to fill them about half full with pea gravel. And if you make it for the class, we actually provide the pea gravel for you. You don't have to bring your cans, you can just fill them up at home. The reason you want gravel in there is it helps stabilize it. A couple of times I started out, I didn't have pea gravel and I used dirt. And the cans would get knocked over and it would make a big mess. And then one of the cans got knocked over enough times there wasn't very much dirt left in it. And every time I'd go to put something on it, my can would fall over and it just was a pain. So you want it for stability, that's why you put the rocks in it. Okay, so in order to cook, you're going to put your cans down, and you want your cans to be in the corner of your rack. Okay, this becomes like your shelf in your oven. So you put them in the corner. So you're going to put your cans down. You're going to make sure it's all in the corner. That gives you the most cooking surface area. Then you're going to take this off again after it's all lined up. In order to cook, you're going to use for cookies, about 8 charcoal when they're new. As they burn down, you'll have more like 10 or 11 in there. And you're going to spread them out evenly between the cans on both sides and 1 or 2 in the middle. Are you understanding? So we're pretending these are burned, whitish charcoal down here.
So, start them in a chimney?
Yes, we're going to go to that next. Good thought. Okay.
It's like
Now,
totally new to me.
when you're cooking, we're not using wood, we're using charcoal because we can it's easier for one, and you can monitor your heat a lot better. Charcoal is about 35 degrees per charcoal. So to make a 350 degree oven, it's anywhere between 8 and 10 charcoal. To start your charcoal, you are not going to be using lighter fluid. And so you don't want to get the match lit kind of charcoal that already has it built in. You want just regular charcoal. And my recommendation is to use Kingsford charcoal, not an off-brand, because off-brands don't light as well, they don't burn as well, and they don't burn as evenly. Kingsford will store indefinite as long as it's kept dry. And I have some in a bucket that I use, all the time that has a Gamma Seal on it because that keeps it airtight. And so it's easy for me to cart around and do stuff with. My other stuff, it's wrapped the way that it came in, put in trash bags and put up in the top of my garage. So it's out of the way and, keeping dry. So to light it, you're going to put it in a charcoal chimney. Because you're only using about 10 to 12 charcoal that you're lighting, you're going to put all your charcoal in a little pile on a side. Don't spread it out, it doesn't light as well. So put it all in a little pile. You take a piece of newspaper, you're going to crumple it up. You're going to put it underneath, down here on the ground, and then put this on top of it and then light it. It usually takes 1, sometimes 2 pieces of newspaper. I'll light one and then wait a couple minutes and put my hand over it. If I can't feel heat coming off of my charcoal, then I know it hasn't lit, and I'll put another piece, and usually the second piece will light. When you first light it, it doesn't look like it's really lit, so that's by putting your hand over and seeing if heat's radiating off, you'll be able to tell if it's lit. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes for your charcoal to get enough white on it that you can use in your oven. I like mine to be at least half white. I find if it's less than that it doesn't continue to burn when it's not next to other charcoal. So then I put it in my oven. And see, my oven temperature is dropping. So, because I've been cooking in this now for 2 hours, my charcoal only lasts about 35 minutes, and so I need to add more charcoal in. So to add charcoal in, you don't need to put in 10 more charcoal because it's already warm in here. So I'm only going to add 2 or 3 more charcoal, and it's going to bring my temperature up. And I just spread them and put them where it looks like the others have burned down. Whatever's burned down the most, that's where I put a charcoal. So, stick some more charcoal in. You're just kind of filling in. Put my lid back on. Okay, now you're going to see, as if you watch, the temperature is going to change very quickly. It'll go up in just a few minutes. It only takes about 3 minutes to preheat the oven, unlike your regular oven at home. Yeah.
You have the charcoal in the front, away from the...
This one?
Yeah, the one in the front.
Okay, so I have one unburned charcoal up here in the corner. It's an unlit one.
Right.
And that provides air for my charcoal, so it'll continue to burn. If I just put it all the way flushed down, are you talking some of the other charcoal?
No.
Oops.
You have the the rims around the outside foil. So you want the, yeah, you have that, you have the unburned charcoal to the front of it as opposed to the back.
Well, it's like that. It's all, my charcoal's all spread out. Does it not look like it from there?
No, I mean, I'm talking about the air circulation. You have the,
You have three sides.
Oh
you
yeah,
got three sides and you have
right.
the open side, so you want the unburned charcoal to the front of the open
It
side.
doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Just
okay.
needs air.
The charcoal's all over, so it doesn't. I just put it there so you guys can see it.
Okay.
At home, normally I have it. You know, I usually keep it in the front because that's usually what I'm getting in and out of, and then I can make sure it's still there. If I put it in the back, it can get knocked out, and I don't necessarily notice it. So it doesn't really matter where it is. I just put it on the corner. You'll notice it's like got the whole side over here is up. You know, is lifted up just because of that one piece. Okay, so my charcoal is in there. Has my temperature come up?
A little bit.
A little bit, not enough. It usually comes up pretty fast.
Well, you had to lift it a couple
You
times.
lifted it a couple times.
Oh, true, I did, but
Probably need like three more.
yes, I probably do. And my charcoal's burning down. Okay. Because my charcoal's been sitting in here. Okay, we'll see how that goes. I have to get some more going. Okay. So, the thing that's cool about Apple Box ovens, besides the fact that they're just made from cardboard, so they're really cheap, is that I can cook in them just like I do in my regular oven. So I can actually do 3 loaves of bread in here at once. I can do 15 cookies on a cookie sheet in here, which even though you can bake with the Dutch oven and the volcano stove and the solar oven, none of them you can cook this much at a time. The other advantage to doing in this kind of cooker compared to some of those for baking is that there's some things you want to have a little bit crispy rather than as moist. And all of those do great baking, but they're very moist. So if I want to do like an apple crisp, it doesn't do so well in my solar oven because it just stays, my topping, my crunchy topping doesn't ever get crunchy, where it does in here. I can do a 9x13 casserole. I can do a casserole and a loaf of bread in here at the same time. So I have a pretty big cooking service in here. Okay, so let's go over to here and show you. Did I already show you this part? No. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
That grill.
See, this is what? Huh?
Where do you find that grill?
This?
Yes.
Okay, so on the sign-up sheets that are going around, on the 22nd, we're doing, no, right there.
Okay.
Okay, on the 22nd, we're doing a workshop. So at the workshop, we're making these and the Wonder Boxes, which are on the other side of the building, and you're getting the specialty material from the rocket stove. And so with the basic oven, you would get the oven itself, and you would get this rack. If you do the deluxe model, which is $30, you get the thermometer and the cookie sheet. And the reason why we are doing these two things is because you can just buy them local, but they're only 10x13. They're a smaller size than what you normally find around, and so we just do them as a group buy with it. So when you come on the 22nd, you will get everything that goes with it.
Can you make two levels like an oven would have?
No, you can't do 2 levels, and that's a good question. I've had people in the past ask if they can just like use the shorter pop cans or the taller pop cans. The problem with that is, if you'll notice, this goes halfway up my oven, which is how you cook in a regular oven. And if you try to do 2 layers, you're going to get too close to the top, and it's hotter up there at the top. And if you lower it, you get too close to the charcoal, and your stuff, doesn't do well.
So when you're
then.
doing bread, you have 3 pans turned
yeah,
long ways.
Yeah, they go this way.
Okay. Or a small casserole pan, like an 8x8 or something.
No, 9x13 will fit on here. Oh yeah.
But not with something
Yeah,
else. Okay.
like a 9x9 and a bread would fit with it. Okay, so that was a good question, right?
Thank
So
you.
we have that. I suggested thermometers. I just started using the thermometers a few years ago. They're actually candy thermometers because they're the only things that go high enough to bake with. That you can use dry. The thermometer is a metal stick on it. They run about $23 if you buy them locally. So we got a pretty good deal with them to be able to get them and that for the $12. And it really makes it a lot easier when you're baking to be able to monitor. if I had one in the back, I would be able to, you know, if I was seen as easy as you, I can tell when my temperature's dropping and I can be adding my charcoal in. I know it's still not hot enough, is it?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
It's hot. It's hot?
It went up.
It went up.
It's up, but it's only,
To be at 300 degrees.
it's 250. That's all.
Pretty close.
Yeah, my cookies are doing pretty good. We're okay. So anyway, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's just feeding stuff in. If you're only cooking for an hour a day, then you only need about 17 charcoal. Did I tell you this part? See, this is where I start writing together. Okay, so to cook in it originally, it's about 10 charcoal, right? If I wanted to cook for an hour or really an hour and a half, I would use a pound of charcoal, which is about 17 charcoal. Because I'm starting out with 8 and then I can just feed some more in with the other ones. You actually can, if you wanted to, add unburned charcoal in next to your ones that are already burning, and it will catch those on fire and start them, you know, so it'll just like self do its own replacing basically. So you can do it that way also. But, you know, it's not an exact science, and so you are gonna practice with a little bit. That's why the more I'm cooking it, the more I'm realizing cookies really only need to cook at about 300 of these because they're closer to the heat and because the oven's smaller. If I do them at 350, for me, they're a little too crunchy on the bottom. See, I like mine like just pale on the bottom, and I need less charcoal to do that. So practicing with them helps. They're really easy to bake with. You can use them, you know, all the time if you wanted to do that. One of the things I found is as you use them, you will find you will get little rips in them. On the outside, it's not such a big deal, but you can't have rips on the inside because then it's exposing your cardboard. So you need some of this foil tape, which you can just pick up at like Home Depot or Lowe's. And oh, I had a little one that was going around. I wonder what they did it with the last class. It's a really thick. It's thicker than regular foil, but they do come in heat. They're heat rated. So you want to get one that's like rated to about 200, not one that's, and I patched yesterday. It's the first time I tried this. I just used some of this and straight patched it. I just taped it on the inside, and none of my tapes are pulling up, so it's a perfect way to be able to patch. So having some extra of this is going to be a great way to do it. So getting your own roll, or I think for like $1 more on that day, we'll have some strips that we can send home with you to use for patching if you need to do that. So when you're storing them, you want to make sure that you store them so things don't poke into it. So when I store mine, I put my cookie sheet on the bottom and then put my rack on top so it doesn't poke through into my aluminum foil. I even store my charcoal chimney and cans. The cans fit inside my charcoal chimney, so I can put all of that and just set it in here with my tongs inside of it, so nothing is poking. You just need to make sure that you don't have any sharp edges on your charcoal chimney. It helps sometimes if you just put your aluminum foil. You can just fold up and store in here too. Just fold it up and put your charcoal chimney on top of it. I put aluminum foil under my charcoal chimneys also, just because it makes it a lot easier to contain the mess. So I can fold that up and put up with it too. So it all stores all together, and it is really, really easy to use, and you can bake anything you want in it. And frankly, if you are storing a year's supply of wheat, for instance, and you're not planning on just eating steamed wheat, you want to make bread, you have to have a way to bake. So all the things that you're learning today, it's never about just one kind of cooker. It's about what you want to bake, what you want to make with the food that you have stored, and how you want to cook it. And I believe in redundancy. I can bake in my solar oven if the sun is out. I can bake in my apple box oven if it's raining. And so I have 2 or 3 different ways of doing things of what I want to do. So you have to decide for your family what is going to work best for you. What do you want to cook for your family? If you want to bake, get an apple box oven. You know, if you're wanting to heat things up, you might want 2 different things. You could do a rocket stove or a volcano stove or any of the other cookers, and you can couple that with a Wonder Box, which keeps it warm. So you could do all your cooking in the middle of the day and then just put your dinner that you've cooked at lunchtime, put it in your Wonder Box, and it'll stay hot until dinner. So there's a lot of ways with the things that we're teaching you today. A combination of them is what works really well for your storage programs. So think about what you need, what you're going to be cooking, and then decide from there what you want to do. And then just start getting it and start using it. The more that your family knows how to use it, the more comfortable you're going to be. You'll make sure that you have everything you need to cook, and you'll be in business when the lights go out. Okay, you're off. Next class, next door. Oh, and here's cookies up here. I don't think these ones are quite done, but those are done.
Oh, they're done. Nice. Go take a picture for cookies.
They are done.
Yeah, well, I'm only eating cookies. I'm only eating cookies.
Okay, here's nice and hot ones to be careful.
We're gonna be healthy.
Here, those are the not.
I don't care about healthy. I want to be happy.